Agents Mulder and Scully, FBI.
And welcome back, everybody, for another X-Files Tuesday. Hope everybody had a good week and are ready to start this show. Alrighty. Sup, Shieldwall? How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Glad to be here. And talking about X-Files yet again. It's that time of the month for the X-Files.
Oh my.
Remind me not to get you cranky.
Yeah, we can. Yep.
Does anyone have chocolate?
Oh. How about ice cream?
No, see, I just need bacon. That's all.
Oh, yeah, I can understand that.
Yeah. But yeah, 2 interesting episodes. We're also going to need a counter, I think, moving forward for the number of times that Scully loses her gun, gets taken away, doesn't have it,
gets
here
kidnapped.
Yep, gets kidnapped or knocked down or something. So,
Yeah, I have to say, so when I watched this, it tended to be quite sporadic. And man, I had forgotten how many times she fulfilled the whole damsel in distress needs rescuing trope.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And
But then says, I'm fine. I'll be fine.
it's already like old, and we're in season 2.
Yeah.
yeah. It was the 90s, but just I think if you got your gun taken away that many times, you'd probably be fired.
Yeah. And welcome back, the Eclectic Goat.
Happy to be here.
Right.
Sorry, I'm putting up the link on Twitter so that.
Oh, thank you. And also Emperor Goodwin.
Yeah, these were, the one was definitely a blast from the past. The Satanic Panic one that reminded me of a movie that I made my wife watch because somehow she missed it in the 80s called Black Roses. And somebody was asking me, what's that movie about? And I was like, okay, so the central conceit is Tipper Gore was right. That music is actually devil worship. And this one was very much oh my gosh, the Satanic Panic was right. They really are devil worshippers everywhere.
Yeah. I was thinking while watching this, no, Twitter told me the Satanic Panic never happened. That's why they made, television episodes about it.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. All right.
Also, does Scully need to turn in her medical license because she's flipping out over dead bodies in an episode, and that's a little odd.
What was really funny was not because everybody has their thing that they're not good at, but literally the next episode, she's looking at a body where someone stole the eyeballs out of it, and she's like, "No, this is fine. Happens all the time.
This is fine."
Yeah.
Whereas the previous episode, she's having a meltdown because the hair has been cut.
Yeah. Well, the good news is she went to a therapist in that one, so it was all solved then. Everything's fine.
Yeah, but they're trying to draw a parallel to the Dwayne Barry incident where she gets kidnapped.
Right.
But there's nothing similar about those stories except somebody got kidnapped. That's it.
Yeah.
And by now she should be used to it because it happens all the time to her.
Yeah,
exactly.
I think she's been kidnapped 8 times in the interim. So.
Yep. So we'll just jump into this first episode. Share screen.
I am Nadia. I saw the present and I wasn't enthused, so I decided to go back to the past.
What? Oh.
Did you break it again, Jacob?
I think I did. I don't know. There we go.
I
had other media up. So I had to remove
don't put
first.
that up. Don't put that up.
So this first episode is Irresistible. And it has a guy in it that always plays a bad guy.
He is, yeah.
It's like
he he has good creepy eyes.
And his voice in this too is really creepy.
Yeah, but it's like, okay, the you're way too socially awkward to like convince a lot of these people.
Yeah.
It was again. It was the 90s, so like the internet really wasn't around.
Yeah, but we'd already had Silence of the Lambs by the time this came out.
Yeah, that's true. But what I'm saying though is now everyone is seeing so much on the internet that, you know what I mean? This guy would be setting off red flags to every woman that was within 10 feet of him.
Which is really problematic.
He got away with it because he didn't act like, he's never met any human on the planet before.
Put the bunny back in the box.
Mm-hmm.
See, I would argue that there would be like two different reactions. One would be the people who think that anyone who's a little odd is automatically like a serial killer.
Mm-hmm.
And the people who are like, no, you absolutely can't judge that person who's, pulling out fingernails because they're probably on the spectrum. Right. And it's not their fault. They're just neurodiverse.
Yeah. Well, they're the ones that need to get killed because they were stupid to think that there was some sort of limitation in serial killer behavior.
These are the people that during a zombie apocalypse would be, zombie.
We need to understand the zombies. I think you just can't. You're like racist against zombies.
Zombie rights activists.
Mm-hmm.
Totally would be a thing.
Zombie lives matter. Activists always get bit.
Yep.
That's why it spreads so fast.
Exactly.
It's because people aren't smart enough to like run away fast enough.
We should hug them and show how much we go. Oh my God.
I mean, that's one of the reasons I love 28 Days so much was, it's animal rights activists trying to rescue monkeys.
Yes, they start everything up, and I was like, ha!
Trans zombies are my friends.
I always had problems with that. Like, they have no guards in the building, or I don't know. Like, how do you get in a facility that's doing that?
I mean, they have, at least as far as like the Animal Liberation Front and things like that, have gotten into labs and freed animals.
And when that fails, they just firebomb it.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. This guy's like, "What are you doing in here? Is that hair?"
Acting creepy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he works at a mortuary, and he's got scissors, and you know what? It never really explains what his compulsion is with hair and fingernails. I mean, I guess you don't really need to know, but like, and then if you noticed when he saw him at first, he had like a Nosferatu like shadow.
Yeah. Well, and then was it Scully that sees him change shape multiple times? So
right. And I'm like, okay, if this dude is really like a creature of the night and stuff, how's he just getting arrested and people catching him and whatever?
He's just a shapeshifter. He doesn't have like magic powers. They saved that for the next episode.
Yeah, I guess. I wasn't really sure exactly what his condition was. You know what I mean? Like, it'd be different if only Scully had seen it. Then I'd be like, okay, she's like wigging out. But
yeah, but you had two different people.
And this guy was eating a popsicle to top it all off. So
yeah. The guy's like, "I should report you." It's like, yeah, you absolutely should report him.
Well, they do.
I mean, they covered that later though, where they're like, they don't want to report that because the last thing you want to have get around is, by the way, this mortuary employees molest the bodies. Let's not do that, shall we?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah. Forget about that.
Despite what they say, there is publicity that is bad publicity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, Jaguar just found that out.
Yeah.
Oh, what did I miss?
This is Jaguar had their we're gonna do incredibly stupid things and also act incredibly gay, and they have sold 49 Jags in Europe. So that's down 99.5%. That's good work on you.
Yeah, good job.
They came out with like a weird
those commercials
commercial.
Yeah, I remember seeing the commercial. I was trying to wonder. I thought
the numbers are coming in.
I thought they followed that up with something, and I was like, "Oh, what did they do now?"
Oh, they did. They did. They followed it up with the sales that you would predict from those commercials, and it's hilarity ensues.
So this guy at first thinks it's a. It's like, oh well, this is a alien thing. Let's call Spooky Mulder. So and then Mulder's like, nah, this is not a UFO abduction.
And the guy seems so disappointed.
Like,
But how
oh,
can you be
man.
sure? I mean, you called me because I'm the expert, dude.
Well, I think he would rather have that than the alternative, as kind of their reaction.
Yeah,
True.
This guy was very like, I don't know my job at all whatsoever.
Yeah, what happened to him
Yeah,
after
right.
Hill Street Blues, man? He just forgot how to be a cop.
Oh, was he on Hill Street Blues?
Yeah, he was Belzer, the crazy one that would bite people.
Oh. Wait, a
So
cop?
really-
Or was
so
he-
really he-
he was a cop.
So really, he didn't change much. Then.
Yeah, well, he's actually, and I'm trying to remember the series. It was one of the like Twilight Zone, Tales from the Dark Side stuff in the early '90s, and the character that he played was someone who was it was the sound of modernity with all the rings and beeps and all that stuff drives him insane. And I was like, that was pretty on the head. I mean, he was just ahead of time.
So he had a fetish of biting people.
It was that he was a small guy, and so whenever he like tried to take somebody down, he couldn't like throw down on them, so he would just like jump on them and
Bite 'em.
do whatever to include biting.
Man, and they think like cops that shoot armed people are bad.
Yeah, I think Belzer had his rabies shots.
Yeah, what does Mulder call this guy? A escalating fetishist or something like that?
Yeah,
Yeah, escalating death fetishist, I think specifically.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're like, "What's the big deal?" So he likes dead people.
well, it's very specifically he fetishizes the hair and the nails, and he says, the problem is that at some point dead people aren't going to be enough. Now the cop like talks about, well, we don't get serial killers and stuff like that, around here. And I was like, dude, Ed Gein was not too far from where you are. So
Right. Yeah. Isn't Dahmer from like?
yeah, he does bring up Dahmer.
Yeah.
What was really interesting to me is that like both episodes had a whole lot of like this stuff never happens in our tiny, rural town.
Yeah.
And yet then they all seem to have access to equipment and stuff that you would never find in a tiny rural town.
Yeah, right.
Well, I mean, except that like they're in like Minneapolis or something, so it's not even a little tiny town. It's just he's like, well, up here up
It's
north, and I was like, dude, Ed
Tiny
Gein.
area connected to other tiny areas that makes up a big area.
Yeah,
Right, but with the visuals, they're trying to like make it look like
it's
this
smaller. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little town. Yeah.
tiny
yeah.
little rural place.
Because they went and shot it in some tiny location in Canada.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah, this
Well-
is Mulder's like he knew that this wasn't a UFO thing, but he did it to go what is it? Here we go. The Redskins.
Yeah. Gonna see the Vikings and the Redskins.
Yep.
2 tickets.
She's like, really? You dragged me all the way up here for football.
I have to say it's kind of weird. Like nothing about Mulder except when the plot requires him to, want to see a Redskins game ever screams, "Hey, I'm a big sports fan."
No. Yeah, something too. They always show this guy with either part or half of his face in shadow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a pretty common.
Yeah.
Well, shapeshifters are known for that. I mean, come on, that's
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out if they started it with Two-Face or if that's just when I really started to notice it.
I've noticed it in old movies too.
Yeah, I mean, it's film noir.
Yeah.
I've seen use of shadow, but not I don't remember specifically seeing that half and half thing, unless it was someone else that was supposed to have some sort of
what was-
conflicted personality.
What was the movie? It was Alfred Hitchcock. what was that?
Psycho?
No,
Vertigo?
no, it's not one of the like main.
So not Rear
Ones.
Window.
No, it's the one with the girl's uncle comes to visit. I can't remember the name of it. But anyway, he's like a serial killer, and it does that. It shows there are scenes where he's just half in shadow.
Oh yeah. But so many of his movies are shot so well.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, especially when you're doing black and white, like the use of shadow is just absolutely glorious.
Yeah, the German expressionist stuff really used like half shadowed faces to show that somebody's hiding something or things like that.
You know, a color movie that used shadow really well was Indiana Jones.
Yeah,
That
Yeah.
series.
Yeah.
uh-huh.
Especially the intro.
And when they're in the bar in the first one, like after catches on fire or whatever, or no, when he first walks in and there's shadows and stuff, it's so good. It's right out of the 1930s.
Yep.
Yeah, so ask this lady, is that such and such lipstick? It's like, yeah, that wasn't creepy to ask.
Well, I mean, he does say that he went to like cosmetology school and he did hair and makeup. So,
right. Which in the early 90s for a dude, kind of weird.
I mean,
Well, she does look at him kind of funny for a second until he like recognizes the lipstick and
he's not acting too off here. He's just kind of soft spoken.
I mean, he's acting like either again, he's never met any humans, or he's like a very repressed gay man.
Well, that honestly was why I thought she gave him the funny look after he said he went to did hair and makeup. Was that I thought what was going through her head was, damn it, he's gay.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
Well, now
and then he asked her about her lipstick color, and she's like, oh well, maybe not.
Now he'd put it on his resume to be sure he got the job.
Yeah, I'm gay.
Okay.
Yeah, leave out that religion part that we talked about. Just put down I'm gay.
Right. Yeah. That used to get you a job.
Yeah, that would have. But...
Yeah, so they have to miss the football game because they found more bodies that have been their hair cut
and they
off
keep showing that the Vikings game is on TV, and then he's like, "Yeah, we got more work to do here." It's like he's making up stuff. It seemed like to watch the game with that guy. Yeah.
And one of the dead bodies looks like her. And it freaks her out.
Oh, that flashed by so quick. I didn't really put two and two together.
Yeah, I caught it. And at first, I was like, "Is she hallucinating that?" And I was like, "No, she just did."
And I usually, when I watch these, I'm very attentive. I'm like on my phone or anything, or doing something else. I'm just watching the show. But
you kind of had to do that with 90s television because you were gonna miss stuff otherwise.
Yeah, they'll sneak something by you.
Right, and that's why I always like to back stuff up too. If I'm like, but I didn't catch that whatsoever.
They might have dumbed some of the television down, but they didn't make it for the inattentive.
Right.
Yeah. So
that picture, by the way, is the only justification for Scully getting kidnapped later on. Because every other woman we see him interact with is blonde, and then all of a sudden he sees Scully, and he's like, "Oh, I think I'm gonna change up my. I think I'm gonna change up my."
No, because one of the bodies they find is dark haired, so it's specifically just hair that he becomes attracted to. And remember when he goes to the
when he's
the home, the delivering stuff, he steals the hair and no blonde.
He does, but like the ones we actually see him with that are dead are the blonde girl at first, the prostitute who is blonde, the lady who hires him who is blondish.
I think one of the bodies
that
they go to inspect is dark haired, and so but
does he kill her? Does he kill her?
No, that's still one of the dead bodies that he's digging
before he starts killing people.
The other thing is they talk about the hair and the fingernails and everything. And they kind of gloss over the fact that he apparently has been stealing the flowers for memorial services. And
Yeah. Right. So this
Yeah,
guy's like
he's-
talking
yeah,
about,
he's-
maybe I've been in a small town too long. And then he talks about Dahmer, and they don't mention his
They
name,
don't
but
say
they,
Dahmer.
No,
yeah,
Right.
they like say he didn't know he was killing a bunch of boys.
yeah,
yeah, that guy.
Yeah, oh, that guy.
yeah. And he does make the good point that maybe they didn't catch him because they didn't want to, didn't believe it could happen where they are.
One of the classes I took on abnormal psychology, and that professor was occasionally known for spinning tales, so I don't know if this is true or not. But apparently one of his victims actually escaped.
He did, and he got it, and the police
Yeah,
caught him with it, and he talked his way out of it. And
He
took
did.
the-
He talked his way out of it, saying,
Yeah.
"Oh, he's just my lover." It was a lover.
Yeah,
torture or
he
something.
made the cop really uncomfortable by saying like, "Oh, yeah, this is just a lover's spat."
Yeah,
And the kid didn't speak English very well, so the cop was immediately like,
Oh,
"Oh, I
yeah.
don't want to. I don't."
yeah. He was. That kid was really underage, but he was also like so doped up and all that, and couldn't really speak for himself.
Scully's got deer in the headlights. It's like, hey. Yep, it's weird. It just doesn't make sense. She's like so traumatized by this. It's not has
Yeah.
no resemblance of what happened to her at all.
Yeah, and it's basically just the torso is stabbed, and then hair is cut, and fingernails are taken. And it was like, I mean, you remove that stuff when you're doing an autopsy.
Yeah.
I mean, when she's doing an autopsy, most of the time she's cutting the skull open.
Yeah, but she never cuts the hair because that'd freak her out.
But I mean, you see other pathologists, and they're eating a sandwich while they're cutting up bodies.
Yeah,
I mean, which is
Uh,
also terrible practice, but
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think that's
yeah.
a trope, like a trope.
Yeah.
Because why would you do that? You can contaminate samples and all kinds of stuff.
yeah, exactly. I mean, you could also contaminate your sandwich.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
Oh, I like a little hepatitis C on top of my the sandwich.
Right.
Become
Yeah.
a
Exactly.
Wendigo it while you're at it. You're
Yeah.
eating
Yummy.
little bits of people.
Which leads me to useless statistics about what's in hot dogs.
What isn't?
What, Wendigo meat? Is that what?
There was a study once where they did random samples of different hot dog companies, and the number of hot dogs they found that had human DNA in them was really alarming. But what was really funny was that the largest sample of hot dogs that had human DNA in them came from vegan hot dogs.
Oh no. When vegans will only eat human meat.
Yeah,
So
it's just the excuse, the cover they use.
Just make sure they're
again,
what
this
they're
was
made out
like
of.
she's already
Whatever.
getting bad feeling. Like as soon as the heat's not on, she should have left.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the thing
But-
is like, yeah, the people will be like, oh, this is odd, but there's almost like an inherent human nature to not
Well, because of
offend
her
or
job.
be rude, and then
Also,
definitely her
because
job.
Yeah,
Yeah.
would be like, okay, I need the money or whatever.
Well, again, he's talking about 2 hours, so that's gonna
Yeah.
be some real money.
Well, and most, I don't know, maybe this is a more modern thing, but I suspect most women would not be like, sure, I'll leave, the possible chance of me being able to scream for help with you.
Yeah, she's a prostitute, so she has that generally you do want to leave areas where you can be caught easily.
Well, caught easily, yes, but you don't want to leave where you can, scream for help and the other girls will, hear you.
Yeah, if you're within shouting distance, you're within cop distance.
Potential for arrest, potential for getting
yeah, but that's which
murdered.
which one is the more likely thing for them to get arrested, and then they're probably the pimp is going to be really angry and all that.
Yeah.
There's
Well,
there's a reason prostitutes are almost always the targets of serial killers because of the easy access.
Yeah. There's
Right.
the other thing though. Like one would assume she would have a pimp.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And
yeah.
the whole purpose of the pimp is you give me a cut of what you're doing and I will keep you from getting serial murdered.
Well, that's the idealized version of the pimp. The reality is give me money and I'll keep you high.
That may be somewhat true, but the fact is that they lose a huge chunk of their income if something does happen to.
Yeah, but I mean, if that was the case, serial killers would never have a shot because pimps would kill them all. But girls get snatched all the time.
Yeah. Do you think this is a red flag?
Yeah,
Yeah,
this
right.
one might be the problem.
Yeah, welcome to your funeral.
Yeah. Now here's I don't have a lot of experience with women like that.
Prostitutes?
But she's kind of good looking for one, I would say.
Yeah,
Yeah, she today she would probably be on OnlyFans, not the street,
yeah.
Yeah.
where it is significantly safer.
Yeah, so he doesn't just cut their hair and take their fingernails. He cuts them up pretty bad.
Yeah.
Well, this is the first time he chops her fingers off, doesn't he?
Yeah, it
Yeah,
takes a couple
right.
of fingers.
He's escalating, which is
Indeed.
what
Well-
the profile said he would do.
The interesting thing is, in this they say he took a couple of fingers, but then when Scully takes her back to Washington, they said that he cut off everything except the thumb on one hand.
No, it was
Thumb
the
is
only
not-
thing that the only thing they got a print on was his thumb.
He took
But it
all
was
the
before
nails.
he took all the nails.
on every hand except for the thumb,
Right.
and that he touched it.
Oh, I thought he said he took. I thought he said. Oh, he took the fingernails. Okay, I
Mhm.
thought he
Right.
said.
Yeah,
the
he took all the fingernails.
fingers.
Yeah, no.
Got it.
Now he's delivering flowers.
I do think it's interesting that we never find out like what the fascination is, because so many of these there's like some sort of closure or something they feel the audience needs.
Yeah, I was kind of glad that they left it in the air because they kill him, so it's not like they're going to get an explanation.
Right. They do that a lot in this show, though. Just leave it like,
Yeah,
make up your own ending.
Well, the early seasons of the X-Files, Chris Carter was actually trying really hard to stick close to vague reality, at least, and I think even in the first season he actually used some real X-Files that had like never been solved.
Mhm.
This scene here also was
Yeah,
like,
this lady's like, "Oh, here's the new delivery person. Come on in.
come on in,
Mhm.
yeah. And
I
he
leave
might-
the back door open." It's
Yep,
fine."
yeah, exactly. We never.
By the
locked
way, I had
back
3
door.
daughters. They're
Yeah.
Virgo, a Pisces, and
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, you just met this dude. Like, at least get to know him a little bit before you just, you know what I mean?
well, he works
I
for
s-
Ficacelli's, so he must be trustworthy. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I suspect she assumes that, the company will do background checks or something before.
These people must be loaded too, that you get your groceries delivered.
Yeah, again, it's the attempt to try and make this like small town stuff, and
Right.
it's
Yeah.
like again we're in Minneapolis. What are we talking about?
All I could think of was that like my grandparents used to get what was the delivery service?
The Swansons?
Yeah, there we go. Like when
Yeah.
Swanson
Maybe
still
those
had like trucks.
Yeah,
They do. They still do.
They
I
still
see them
do in some
delivering,
areas.
Yeah,
They
delivering
I was
them.
gonna say they do not here.
Okay.
Yeah,
That went
they-
away. That went away many moons ago.
Yeah, they reduced some of that, like I don't know, 10 or 15 years ago in a lot of areas. But
Yeah.
I mean, I have cousins that are in like the Boulder area, and they still have milk delivered to the house.
This is.
That's cool.
She's like, oh, I'm just gonna bother you in the bathroom just to tell you. Oh, we don't lock the back door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he did say all he was doing was washing his hands, so.
Yeah.
I kind of wondered if she wasn't supposed to have like had some sort of intuitive second thought about like maybe he
Nope.
seems like he's been in there a long time. Maybe
Nope. He comes out, and by the way, we leave the back door unlocked. Oh, thanks.
yeah, I was like, oh, they're gonna be able to salvage this, and oh no, never
No,
mind.
they're not. No, she's going to double down on stupid.
And yet, then they never do they ever go anywhere with that?
What, the back door
I don't
being
think so.
unlocked? I don't think so.
No,
No, they don't. I don't think they ever show those people again.
he found better hair.
Yeah.
Like that whole scene just goes nowhere.
Right.
We
I
need
think
to
it-
we need to make you afraid for this family and
Mhm.
fill some time.
Right. Also, I was looking at her. What font is that she's using on for her reports? Because I used to see it all the time on computers, and I never see it now.
Yeah, that's I mean that's a Mac, and she's a Macrite. So is it Arial or what's the Apple one?
Yeah, I don't know about Apple. I know that in the 90s, Arial and Times New Roman were the.
Yeah, that might.
Yeah.
I don't know. That might be Arial.
I think
Look at
I
it.
think
it
Arial.
is Arial.
I think Arial was actually used more often than it was Arial, and then it was Times New Roman, and then it's whatever the one that is now.
Yeah.
Starts with a C. Don't remember.
Yep. We're not nerds at all on this channel.
No.
No, we're not.
No, but all I had to do was like glimpse that, and I was like, "Oh, that's a Mac." It's
Yeah, right.
Yeah. But that's the other thing. A lot of she's like, according to the internet. I was like, yeah. In this era, there was nothing there was no news on the internet like that.
yeah. I mean, according to Usenet groups,
Exactly.
okay,
Yeah, that was what you're gonna get. Somebody spelling "leet" with E's 3's backwards.
yeah. Well, actually, she does check Usenet. I think it's in the next episode.
Yeah.
Which was amusing to me. But yeah, also this is the wordiest. I don't know who's reading this ME report,
Yeah.
but they're going to be like, half of this is going to have to go if we ever use this in court.
Yeah, it was one thing when she was like supposed to be taking notes, to observe Mulder, but the fact that now she's putting them right into her professional reports with these like that would never fly. It's just weird.
Yeah, it's like Agent Scully. This little story about you in band camp that doesn't need to be in the medical report. Let's get rid of that.
You shooting the snake to death. We don't need to hear about that either.
No, that's fine.
So really, all they got to go on is he has maybe a white car.
Yeah,
Another
and
thing
he's average looking.
I noticed about this episode is Mulder doesn't have any crazy ties. His ties
No,
are,
he
like,
didn't.
stand outish.
Maybe he only wears that when he's dealing with aliens, or he was like, "Oh, damn! I guess I'm put away the alien tie. I'm just dealing with normal stuff now."
Yeah.
Well, he thought he was going to get a date with Scully to go to a football game. So
Yeah.
And now he's taking a comparative religion class.
Yeah.
apparently for the entire purpose of
Yeah, he's going Ted
Finding-
Bundy in this one, I guess.
I
Finding.
think maybe he was really interested, but she just happened to be there. Or do you think that he specifically took the class to like get at this one lady?
It's hard, not this one lady, but you know,
Just
to
targeted.
find.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's the other one. She's also blonde.
Yeah.
Mhm. Right. So this is what would lead you to believe that that he's in the blondes, but then
Yeah, I think he has a preference for blondes. I don't
Right,
think it's
yeah.
exclusive. I think he just
Mhm.
has a preference. But like if it weren't for those couple other ones, his regular pattern, and then having him look at Scully and go, "Oh, you know, I've changed my mind."
Mhm.
Right.
He's like, well,
Red-
I mean, I would get redheads, but so many of them are fake, and that's not worth it. And otherwise, they're a bit
I
thin
mean-
on the ground, especially up here in Minnesota.
Most of the blondes have been fake too, so
Well, that's true. Yeah, that's why I got
But-
smart. Do you need special hair conditioning? Has your hair been-
Well, he starts conversation by saying, "Hey, I'm in the same class as you." And she's like, "Yeah, that's cool. I got to go." And he's like, "Hey, did he say to read chapters 11 and 12 or 12 and 13?" And that kind of lowers her defenses. It's like, "Oh, I'm going to help the guy out." He walks over and he says, "Hey," and she says, "Oh yeah, it was 11 and 12." He's like, "Oh," and that's when he asks her this weird hair care question.
Yeah.
And she's like, "I need to go." And that's when he puts his hand on the thing and says, "No, I want you to stay." And then
yeah,
she
don't go.
Yeah,
And she
knocks
says,
him
"Why
down
don't
and
you taste your testicles here?" And
yeah.
Yes.
yeah, Melbourne may be right. Yeah, Chicago typeface
Taste-
sounds
taste the
right for
paper.
the Mac.
Why did she drop the charges?
Uh,
Did she realize, well, he didn't actually do anything?
Yeah,
so
I
Right,
think it's mostly
right,
that.
right.
Yeah.
he scared me. I can't really like.
Yeah. I mean, technically, I assaulted him. That's a problem. So.
right. Yeah, but now she would have had her phone out and it'd be all over TikTok. Yeah, see, here we go, Nosferatu.
Yeah.
Kind
It's
of
a
creature.
it's a criminal charge anyway. So like she couldn't really drop the charges because the DA files them.
Right.
But she could refuse to testify.
Mhm.
Yeah, so they've
Uh,
caught a guy. I think it might be him. And this poor guy didn't even do anything.
I mean,
Well-
he slapped around another.
Yeah,
Oh,
he
he
slapped
did?
around
Oh,
another
okay. I
working
missed
girl,
it.
and she proceeded to kick his butt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she slashed them because they're all carrying knives now.
Yep.
Yep.
I was like, now? That should have been.
Exactly. It should be like
Yeah.
I mean, I
part
love
of
the
the
fact
standard
that
loadout.
I love the fact that apparently, like the entire working girl population in this area are like trained knife fighters.
I mean,
This
it's
is-
part of
this
the
is a small
union
town
training. You
where-
know, you
this is
get
a- This is a small town with a big population of working girls
yeah, yeah.
that know how to knife fight.
Actually, a majority of the population are knife fighting prostitutes.
And how
Oh, he's,
convenient
like,
that he
right
just
behind it.
happens to be right across the. But see, this is another thing where they try and make it feel like a small town.
Yeah.
That is a really tiny jail.
Yeah.
Look, there's not a lot of crime in Minnesota, or at least there wasn't.
Yeah, all the knife carrying prostitutes kept the crime down.
Yeah,
They're all
it's like
they're
Sin
all-
City, man.
They're all like vigilantes on the side.
Yeah, it is. Huh?
If you're
It's
a
like
bad
Sin
person-
City. You can go in there if you play well, then you have a good time. But if you don't, they'll kill you and make you disappear.
If you, if you're a bad person, you're probably going to seek out prostitutes, and then they're just going to take care of you, and no one else will never know about it.
Exactly. Yeah.
And this is where Scully's like, I'm fine. I can take care of myself.
Well,
I'm
she
a
is
baby
in kind of
garage."
she is in kind of a lose-lose situation here because she's not handling it well, and Mulder might not because he's got the hots for her. But like, if she ever admitted it otherwise, she's never living it down.
Well, I mean, she brings up like a better point with the psychiatrist that if she admits this, then he will feel compelled to protect her, and that could endanger him.
He is already, though.
Yeah, but doubly so. No.
Right.
Crime rates, particularly violent crime, generally increased in the early to mid-1990s, peaking in the mid-1990s, and then began long-term decline.
Yep.
So this actually is like the height of the crime wave there.
Yeah.
But not in Minnesota.
Oh no, that's specifically what I looked up was Minnesota.
No, that's only fictional Minnesota. In real Minnesota, which we're watching right now, that definitely isn't a small town in Canada.
You ever notice that people who are psychopaths and serial killers in movies always button their shirt like way up?
Yeah.
That's how I know that people are serial killers or psychopaths. I mean, if you're not willing to let a chest hair show, I don't trust your mental health.
Like, were those FBI
I mean-
agents?
See, that man's sane right there.
Yeah.
It's suggesting that you're at least a little bit in.
He just learned from Sean Connery, you know.
Yeah. Sometimes you gotta slap him.
Nobody ever took a knife to Sean Connery that I know of.
you.
Yeah, it does sort of suggest that he might be a little bit into choking, though.
Yeah. Also, that he has something to hide, and so he's closed up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, he gets Scully's name from this guy. It's like, oh, so that's her name.
Love it.
You know,
They use AKs, and you'd be surprised how they hide them. No, it was the next one.
Is
They hit each other with vodka bottles.
That could be.
I found it entertaining that the guy's like, I don't remember his name, but her name was Scully, like the announcer.
Yeah.
As opposed to, I remember her name because she was hot,
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
and I am obviously a guy who
Exactly.
likes the ladies,
Yeah.
even after they knife me.
It's like, you're free to go. They had him
Actually,
right there.
The interesting thing is they tell him he has to talk to a social work therapist first.
Yeah.
We never see that. That would have been so interesting to figure out how he managed to
Right. Get out of that, because
Like it- yeah.
they should have turned him right back around and marched him back into the cell. Once they asked him like 5 questions.
Yeah, but the good news is that appointment was like in 2 weeks, so he was able to get away with
Oh,
all the
yeah,
stuff
yeah.
process.
Does anyone for a moment believe that guy's 28?
I mean, like 1950s 28, where 13-year-olds looked like 40-year-old men. I can believe that.
Yeah. Because they say he's later on, I think they say he's like they figure out who he is, and they're like, it's 28-year-old male. And I'm like, really?
Yeah, I mean, when I was 28, I might look that old. I don't know.
So they get a
That-
fingerprint off her thumbnail.
Off the body, yeah. That they,
Yeah.
That's,
the one that he
that's
cut
what
up.
that is.
Yeah, this one's like satin, so we're SOL on trying to get any prints off of that. So another reason to have satin sheets. Better to hide your crimes.
I also found it entertaining that he was just like, I will move every other thing I'm supposed to be doing out of the way in order
Exactly.
to.
If you were ugly, you're going to be waiting until Tuesday, but since it's you, I will make sure.
Crime Lab in DC, I feel like, must be months behind.
Mm-hmm.
Especially since I think this is before.
Yeah, they started making stuff up.
See it. Well, no. CSI apparently did increase the number of people who wanted to go into that field
Yeah,
a lot. And before that, they were apparently chronically understaffed.
yeah.
Because they thought, hey, I can just do that in a day. I'll
Yeah.
solve crimes daily.
Yeah. Zoom, enhance.
Yeah, and
Enhance,
by-
enhance, yeah.
And by season 5, I'll be carrying guns and making arrests.
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
Yep.
Working
This
in Miami.
actress has been she's been in quite a few things, I think. too.
Yeah,
She looks familiar.
She's been in quite a few X-Files,
Yeah.
just playing
I feel
different
like-
characters.
Oh, I was going to say I felt like Scully spends a lot of time in therapist's office.
Yeah.
That might be where I'd seen her before.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, she got abducted by aliens and government, and just
Well, if she
constantly-
wouldn't keep losing her gun, she wouldn't get abducted all the time.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
gets knocked out and falls down a bunch.
Yeah.
See, the problem is this also was before the Wii, because if it was after the Wii, they just would have taken her gun and given it one of those things that loops over your wrist, so she wouldn't keep losing it every time she got knocked down.
Yeah. Oh, but you notice you're referring to yourself in the second person? Do you know what that means? Yes. Most of us do if we have any kind of thoughtfulness about it. Things.
It means I'm going to put out a rap album.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's when you refer to yourself in the third person.
Oh, you're right. Okay.
Yeah, and then we have this like therapy scene that also just seems to kind of come out of nowhere, and
Yeah, not really do anything.
I would have liked it if Scully would have corrected her and been like, "No, I only refer to myself in the second future perfect tense." That's let's be accurate with this.
you know, going through this for the second time today, I'm realizing that this entire episode feels so disjointed. Like there are so many scenes that just don't belong.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
It was like there was like a 20-minute storyline, and they were like, "All right, we need to figure out a way to double this." So,
Or it's a much longer one, and they're trying to compress like the time and all that. Because I mean, they basically just like, "Oh, he killed someone," and like 8 minutes later, and we found him, and here he is.
but there are also so many things that just seem like side quests.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and again, if it was a longer movie, you could see him like setting up different things, and okay, I'm gonna hit this family at a certain point, but he gets interrupted because of or distracted because of Scully, and then.
Oh.
So you're saying it's not the scriptwriters that are at fault; it's the editor.
All right, I think it may be the scriptwriters as well. It was like, look, Johnny, you're not writing a movie. We are trying to do a 40-minute episode here.
Yeah. Sometimes though, bad editing can really ruin like a storyline and make it hard to follow. Also, shows back at this era didn't really do like they do now, where they'll have so many loose end story threads that don't go anywhere. It's like modern writers are just crazy about doing that for some reason.
Yeah, I think
they set something up and then it never pays off.
I think another thing that we miss when we watch these now is the commercial breaks, where time actually passes, and so by the time you come back from commercial, it's perfectly fine that it's several hours later because you've been away from it. When you just watch it continuously, you're like, wait, what? We were just here.
Yeah, I think being more deliberate with time passage in shows, it's better if it's realistic and it's also represented somehow. I mean, it doesn't have to be monologue or whatever, but just make it apparent that it's like a couple of days later or whatever the case may be. Because you're right, you get confused and you're like, wait a second, they were just doing this. How are they all the way over here now?
Yeah,
they do that a lot with air travel in this show, where they're like making 5-6 hour flights and it seems like only a couple of hours have passed, and they're not like tired or look disheveled or anything. It looks like they just stepped out of the
Mulder never has jet lag ever.
Right.
For that matter, for that matter, he's never tired.
Right. Yes, exactly. Exactly. Nobody's ever.
It's all those sunflower seeds.
I've just been up 18 hours and I'm trying to figure this out, kind of thing. It's not necessarily important to the plot, but it just helps with the.
Even in this episode, like Scully goes home or goes to her hotel room or whatever and goes to bed.
Mm-hmm.
Mulder apparently never does, and is like far more alert and with it than she is.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe he's
Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I don't know. Maybe
he's getting in the narcotics
exactly.
locker, and just a little bump. I'll be fine.
Yes, Scully,
but I do think there's a
defensive driver's course.
Well, they immediately was like, "Oh God, yep." They look over there. Yep, it was a woman driving. But I think the benefit of these older shows is that when you went to commercial, it was like a mental context switch for the audience. So when you returned, whatever you returned to made sense because we're back at show and things may have happened in the interim. When we just watch it continuously without commercial breaks, then it seems kind of disjointed.
I got up to go get popcorn. My brain has now reset, and therefore I can adapt to the fact that this is a scene change.
Right.
Here's like And the guy's like, well, he would never go to his mother's place. Where's his mother's place?
Florida. That's the first thing is they go, where was mother live? Florida. Where did you look before? Yeah, but that whole he had a problem with his mother, so he would avoid his mother's place or her entirely. It was like that was a hell of a logical leap you made there, sir.
Yeah.
I also kind of want to know why, like, what happened to his sisters?
He had sisters.
Yeah,
They say
they inherited the.
mom willed the house to his sisters.
Mhm.
They're probably buried in the basement somewhere.
Yeah,
You thought he'd escalated to killing people just a few days ago.
No, he's been doing
Actually.
it for a long time.
yeah. It was he escalated to killing strangers. That was the
That's
surprise.
That's what it was.
Ran out of family.
Oh, there he is again. It's like, huh,
Mm-hmm.
you've got bony shoulders. He doesn't need shoulder pads. He's got
Yeah,
the bony shoulders.
he actually has to wear the pads to protect other players. He'll impale them with his shoulders
Yeah,
otherwise.
right.
Does somebody else see him like that? Because
Yeah, the funeral director does.
okay, I totally
Yeah.
missed that. I managed to miss that both times because
Yeah, the funeral director is the only one that sees him like that. Everyone, it's only him and Scully.
Yep.
because I just assumed that Scully got in a car accident recently and
And just flipping out.
Hallucinating.
Yeah, no, the funeral director sees him. That's why the funeral director freaks out at first. Is
Yeah,
that
he drops his popsicle.
Yeah. So he was really scared.
Yep. This is where they're calling around doing basic cop work that they should have done like the first
Yeah.
hour of the
Yes.
investigation.
Yeah. As soon as they knew his name.
Yeah.
yeah, the ending I did think seemed very rushed. Like all of a sudden
Yeah.
we know who the guy is, we know where he lives, we know where his mother lives.
Patrol car just saw the car. We then teleport to
parked-
the house and show up at just the right time.
Yeah. Just
Parked behind the house. Like, how did that work?
just right before he cuts a finger off, or they come in through the door.
Yeah. Look, it's a very dangerous alley that they have to patrol all the time. They just happen to see his car there.
Right.
And I knew exactly what that shade of white was.
Exactly.
Well, they sent it to the FBI like paint place, and they came back and told them what kind it was, and they were like 60,000 cars
Yeah.
in this area have that color. I was like, really? There are 60,000 white cars? Not in America. You're in Japan, maybe.
No, they meant in the city. That's what they said. In the city.
I was like, nah.
Like, I didn't realize that white was such a popular color in
Not
Minneapolis.
that color. Yeah, that was a terrible color.
Yeah.
Well,
But it was
nowadays, cars are either white, gray, or black, unless you ask for a specific color.
Right?
Yeah, in this era, it should have been like that champagne color. That was all over
Yeah.
the place in the 90s.
Right.
It was
yeah.
a really specific shade of white, though, and like
Yeah.
how
It was like a weird off-white. Like
So
pearl
how
or
exact-
something?
yeah, and how exactly did the officer first of all see the car parked behind the house, and second of all know it was exactly the correct shade of white that we were referencing?
Oh, so they actually they found out the mom's car, and they're like, oh yeah, it's a late model white car, but they're clearly looking at the make, model, year, and all that.
Yeah.
So they put out an APB on the car and the
The specific make and model
Yeah,
and the
yeah.
license plate. So
yeah, and then the police
um,
officers.
so that's how he saw it.
right.
once they figured out that they did a little bit of basic police work and figured out that the mom had the car and gave it to him. Because basically the house was left to his sisters, but
they're selling it.
Yeah, and he has access to it.
Yeah.
I still think, the thing is that if this actually was more of the makeup that one would expect of a city this size, it actually would make more sense. Because there would be alleys. And there probably would be police officers driving up and down them.
Yeah.
But the way they have this set up with the, honestly, not a small town in Canada.
Yeah.
If you park a car like behind my house, nobody's going to see it. And I live on a corner. And I live on a corner lot.
Right. Look at the
It's
size
a
of this
huge
house.
house.
There's no way you could see it behind it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Unless-
I mean,
unless
if
the roads are all
if it was small town, I can see them actually driving the alleys because I mean they used to do it in my small town. I mean, if you did anything, if you had a car, if I would come to visit my mom, and I had a cousin that was volunteer fire department, so he had a police scanner going, and he would call me like as I came in the door, and he was like, "Oh, you're in town." And I was like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, the cops call you and called in your license plate as soon as you rolled into town because it was an out of county tag, right?" So I mean, anything that happened in small town would get detected, but in Minneapolis, not so much.
You can tell that kid's bad from the beginning.
Exactly. It's the ears.
Yeah. Bat ears.
Bat Boy is back.
So just a heads up, that storm I was talking about earlier is apparently now directly overhead. So
Oh, you got that going for you.
Lovely.
what do they do? Just hire this kid for a photo shoot?
Yeah, poor kid.
We just
Yeah.
want you to do a photo shoot as a bad guy. And that's
Yeah.
how you're going to be
I
remembered
didn't even
forever.
tell him that. They were like, "This kid looks creepy. Let's put him."
Yeah, imagine the casting call. Do you have a creepy looking kid? Bring him in. We're looking to
Bring on
cast.
all the creepy kids you got. Bring them.
Yeah.
Looking for all future sociopathic looking
Yeah.
kids.
Does your child look like a serial killer?
on.
Does he remind you of Damien
No,
from The
sir, but-
Omen?
But I can make him look like one.
I sure can. Can you imagine the parents that actually brought the kid? I mean, my kid looked messed up. What the heck? Go ahead, look at that child.
We need you to never blink, wear clothes that have way too high a collar, and
Mhm.
Always look up in a weird way.
Yeah, yeah. And we'll use some silly putty to make your ears stick out.
So yeah, that's that episode. What? Any closing thoughts on that one? Besides,
I think I pretty well said mine.
yeah,
It was choppy.
it was choppy. It was.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just it didn't make sense the way they wrote it for Scully to be freaking out over every little thing.
I mean,
yeah.
the only thing I can think of is that they label it a Monster of the Week episode. But the only thing I can think of is that someone was like, hey, people are complaining that Scully has absolutely no effects from her kidnapping whatsoever. So we need like
Right.
one scene from one show that's like, look, she's gotten therapy. She's fine now.
Yeah.
Just so that we can go back to
Something.
writing her the way we were.
Yeah, this was like the Scully trauma episode, but let's make it current by referencing Jeffrey Dahmer, but we can't say his name.
Right. All right, and next episode is Die.
Yeah, it's German.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't speak German.
Yell it angrily. You'll probably be fine.
Yeah.
Ah, there we go.
Shout it like you're trying to clear your throat.
Fuck. Fuck.
Deichhandon.
Very nicely done.
Yeah.
I thought
Live
this one was at
free or
least
die.
put together better.
Yeah. And they're like talking about different things. Oh, they're they're planning on doing Jesus Christ Superstar at the. It's like that's not for our school.
I
Yeah,
love
the
the one where he goes, well, he's always trying to appeal to the kids. What kid in the 90s gives a damn about Jesus Christ Superstar?
Yeah.
I mean, I did, but I'm a nerd, so.
Yeah, I was aware of it. I didn't care. And again, if I went and because he's trying to appeal not to the two theater kids, but to the kids in the 90s, and nobody's going to know.
Yeah,
this.
that show didn't that debut in like 1970 or something?
Yeah.
I feel like it must have had some sort of resurgence because I remember finding out about it in the 90s, and I was oblivious. So
I remember my cousin going crazy for Cats, and then I finally saw it in like 2016, and I was like, okay, granted the music's good, but the story is bonkers.
Yeah,
it doesn't make any kind of sense. It's just nonsense. And then I went and saw Chicago, the musical, which the songs are really good and the dance numbers, but wow, it made women look like garbage. And then I saw Les Miserable, and that
less
story,
miserable.
yeah,
I saw more miserable.
well, Les Mis, whatever you call it, but
Les
it
Miserables.
was Les Miserables, and that had the story was like, I'm mayor now. Like what? How? You stole some candlesticks and now you're mayor and you got a factory and all this stuff. And
it's the mayoral mantle. I mean, once you get the sticks, then you're in charge. That's how it
made
works.
Any sense? And I was like, all right, this story's kind of not that good.
The interesting thing is that the two musicals I think are probably the best are the ones that no one ever knows exists, which is Miss Saigon and Jekyll and Hyde. Jekyll and Hyde, especially the guy who did the guy who played the Jekyll Hyde part, where it was kind of amazing.
Yeah, this era would have been like Andrew Lloyd Webber's Phantom of the Opera and stuff like that. It's like them doing Fame right now, and it'd be like, I'm sorry, Fame you're about 10 years late on that one.
I saw
Phantom. Sorry, go ahead.
I saw Starlight Express, and it's like with roller skates and stuff, and it was really good. The story made sense. It was fun. It wasn't like just Cats is just. I was like, this, okay, it's good, but it's so overhyped. Same with Chicago, same with Les Mis. All of it, to me, was overhyped.
I have never seen the stage production of Chicago. I've seen the movie. I did like the movie.
I saw stage production. And again, it was good. It was well put together. The music was great. The sets were great. I was like, really? People acclaim this story? It's about a woman that like cheats on her husband and gets him thrown in jail.
Oh yeah,
terrible.
I mean, well, she's terrible. I mean, that's kind of but it's
so.
There's a whole lot about what getting in the newspaper and journalism will do to let you get away with being terrible.
So they're going over things coming up on the school calendar. It's like, we need to pray. We haven't prayed in a while.
Yeah, the implication through this whole thing is supposed to be that this is a very religious town.
Yeah.
Well, it is.
Just not the one you thought.
Yeah.
Well, then the implication seems to be it is a very religious town. These four just happen to have a totally different religion.
Yeah.
They're just not religious enough. And these are like the founding families type thing.
The town, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. But it does always have like a weird kind of like whenever they do this kind of stuff, like lights are going on and all kinds of weird stuff's happening.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as they light the candle, I was like, oh, they're Satanists. Okay.
And these two guys are like from Clerks or whatever is what they're trying to look like. They're wearing the trench coats and they look like they were hanging outside the convenience store. I mean, look at him. He's got the same kind of hat on. One of them's a little bigger with longer hair. Yeah. So basically they're just like, oh, we'll be like the Clerks movie, which came out only a couple of years earlier than this. And it's really popular with the kids.
Also grunge.
Yep.
Yeah,
popular with the kids.
But I do...
Clerks and Jesus Christ Superstar.
Yeah, Jesus Christ Superstar, right up there. Probably saw it at the same time.
Well, yeah.
But I do appreciate their motivations. It's absolutely teenage guy motivation.
Yeah.
Yeah, except these guys both look like they're 30. But
I mean, welcome to 90s television.
yeah.
And then all hell breaks loose.
Yeah, the one that dies looks like the Corey Haim we have at home.
Right, yeah. We have Corey Haim at home.
Yeah.
Oh, but that meme is so accurate. Who hasn't had that their parents tell them that?
Yeah.
Oh, we can do this at home better
Yeah.
or whatever. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, Eddie Murphy does that thing in Delirious with the we got McDonald's at home.
Yeah.
We got McDonald's at home? And Mom make it better than McDonald's.
And see, like this. So they're doing this ritual and then all this weird stuff happens. And so is it real or, what's happening?
I mean, yeah, then somebody picks him up by the neck and
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure that's supposed to be real in this case.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no doubt.
So the sheriff's all, oh, this has got to be devil worship and witchcraft. And Mulder's like, not believe, or pretending like he doesn't believe that what he's saying.
Yeah.
Because he didn't want him to
Panic.
to get
Yeah,
this
right,
guy already
right.
has ideas in his head that it's like a witchcraft
Yeah,
thing.
don't need to feed it.
Right. Don't feed the satanic panic. And then, but the kid's eyes have been removed and his heart cut out.
Yeah.
So either got a weird serial killer or something's going on.
And come to find out, there's might be reason to panic in this town.
Yeah, especially when it starts raining frogs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was sitting there thinking to myself, yeah, it's raining frogs, but, it's going to be season 5 before I really believe that there's anything supernatural or aliens that can go on.
Yeah, I mean, Scully's like, well, there was a tornado and, whatever. It's like,
Right.
oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, in the same state,
Yeah.
a few
It
miles
just
away,
happened.
there's tornadoes.
It just happened to fall right on you.
Yeah.
At that very moment, even.
The stuff like that is true, though. If you have a water spout go over a lake, it'll pick up a bunch of fish and put them way into the stratosphere, and then they'll rain down somewhere else.
You can obviously tell those are fake frogs.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
some rubber.
Frogs, yeah.
I
They
mean,
just cut to real frogs.
even in the 90s, somebody would have protested them dropping actual frogs.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't watch the full credits. It probably had a statement like no animals were hurt, especially now when they're putting it out now. Somebody would definitely say something.
Yeah.
Racerhead says, I'm just going to throw these rubber frogs at your umbrella real quick.
Yep.
The Dewey Decimal System
Hell yeah.
on paper cards.
Wow.
Proper card catalog.
Yep.
I have mixed feelings and nostalgia about that.
I used to know how to do all that, but I mean, who needs it now? You just go to the computer and tell you where it's at.
I mean, I was a microfiche monster too.
Yep.
I'd be like,
Yes.
yeah, let's
I
go.
used to have to use that for work. I had to look up parts
Yeah.
catalogs that were all on microfiche.
Mhm.
Yep.
Oh, witch hunt. This is a nice school. They have witch hunt on file.
Yeah, it's a very thorough library they have here.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially for a town that apparently is supposed to be very religious and regularly keeps their kids from getting into anything that might be a little sketchy.
Yeah.
That seems exactly like the kind of library that would ban books.
Yeah.
Right. Although that card dates this episode relatively closely.
Yeah.
Because it was January 6th, 1995 when he signed it out.
Yep.
Or maybe that's a 16?
Yeah,
That's
that
a
looks
one
like
and-
that
yeah,
looks like a 1-6.
Yeah.
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 But it just in proper library fashion, it's impossible to read for real.
Yeah, exactly.
Wait, can you go back a frame? Oh, I thought for a second it said the date was returned in 1944, and I was like,
No, yeah, May 20th.
well, I would say the reason they have not banned that book is that it gets checked out so infrequently they kind of forgot it was there.
Yeah.
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 How long have they owned it before somebody started checking it out?
Yeah, I didn't know we had this book.
Yeah.
I can't remember the last time I checked a book out of a library. It's got to have been
Oh, yeah,
30
me
years. I've been to a library and did some like reading, but where I actually checked the book out, like got a library card and the whole thing.
Books,
I'm
maybe it's
sorry?
been a while, but like videos or things like that, I certainly have when the kids would want to look at something. I've certainly sat in the library for hours reading.
Right. I've done that. I've sat in libraries and stuff when I was like on different bases or whatever. But actually signing a book out to take somewhere to like do stuff with, it's been at least 30 years.
This kid's like, I'm out of here. It's the FBI.
Yeah. He tries to run out this little window. It's like, dude, why are you running anyway? You know?
I mean, it was his best idea. You know, I can remember being a teenager. This would have been the kind of thing my brain would have done then. But why'd you do that? I don't know. My brain just decided that was what I was going to do right then.
You're right.
I'm kind of explaining things after the fact during my teenage years.
Mulder already knows why these boys checked it out. Scully's like, why did you go out there with that book? Mulder's like, I'm way ahead of you, Scully.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mulder probably did the same thing.
Exactly. It's like, because they're guys. That's why.
This guy needs a shave terribly.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, this is the grunge stupidity here.
Yeah.
Yeah, at least have a mustache to go with it, man. Or 5 o'clock shadow or something.
Yeah. Just don't have that pencil thin, I just hit puberty mustache that makes me think you have a 70s Camaro that you drive around.
Did y'all recognize the blonde girl there?
Nah, she looked kind of familiar, but not really. Who is that?
Looking it up.
She's been in like a bunch of other stuff. She going to be famous?
Yeah, I think she was in that. What was that? That show about the high school where the aliens take over?
The movie?
Yeah,
Or the TV show?
the movie.
It was called The Faculty, right?
Yeah, I think she's
Yeah.
the alien in the faculty. I think.
Wow.
Looking it up. Sorry.
Now, both of these girls went out to the woods with them, right?
Right.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's what I thought. I just want to make sure I got it right.
Yep, it is.
Hmm.
What's her name? Her name is Laura Harris.
Means nothing to me.
No.
Like I've seen the faculty once.
I think. Yeah, I haven't seen her in anything else.
Well, after they found out she was an alien, she really couldn't
Yeah,
get cast
exactly.
in anything else.
Yeah, when the guy says, "Oh, we just took them out there, for a certain reason," and they're like, "See, I told you."
Exactly. And that's why we took you two out there, because you weren't bright enough to figure it out.
Come on. The girls knew. They had to know.
Well, that
Oh,
one
mean,
didn't.
At least one of them knew,
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you know what I
and
mean?
and was apparently okay with it.
Right. That's what I'm saying. You just don't, hey, let's follow these boys into the woods at night when it's raining. Like, it's raining. If they that means they really wanted to go into the woods with them. Because most women or girls would just been like, yeah, it's raining. I don't want to go. You know?
Well,
Yes.
one of them apparently knew and was really into it. The other one was apparently really into Satanism.
apparently.
I will absolutely go out and, work on a satanic ritual with
Yeah,
you in the middle of the woods in
Let's
the
go
rain.
Look at that. Yeah.
He's like, which
That
one
sounds
are you
great.
killing?
I was like, I haven't been to church with my parents in a long time. We should go out there. All right, that guy's sus. I mean, he's like a 50-year-old man wearing a Letterman's jacket. It's got to go. Probably sells shoes.
Why'd you let them go? Yeah, it seems like they all scattered in different directions when that chanting started. The kids.
Yeah.
This is weird. They're
I
like,
find it.
Go
Sorry, go
ahead.
ahead.
No, you.
Oh, I
you
was
go
going to
ahead.
say, I find it incredibly entertaining that the most devout Satanist is the school counselor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
I mean, having worked with a lot of counselors, it actually works real well.
Yep, makes sense.
And this whole thing where the water's spinning the wrong direction for the hemisphere they're in.
Yeah.
And he's like, something is here, Scully. And I'm like, yeah, somebody knows how to record and make it go back.
Swish the bowl around. Yeah.
I was kind of wondering how they did that.
It's someone swishing a bowl around because you can see it's not just like normal drain.
Right, right.
She seems nice.
Yeah.
Oh, this teacher. Yeah.
And my wife, because we watched this, and she was like, "Why does this woman always play a bad person?" And I was like, "Have you seen her?"
Yeah, she's been. What else has she been in? She's been a lot of stuff.
Yeah, she's always like that
Weird.
character actor. If you want, like, creepy crazy lady, or
Oh, that's nice. Everybody should keep a heart and 2 eyes in their drawer.
yeah,
The thing I found the most creepy about her is the fact that she's still more likable than the 4 actual Satanists.
that's true.
Like even at the end of the episode.
Yeah, she leaves a nice, polite note. Hey, it was great working with you.
Bye.
Bye.
As she rides off on her broom.
Uh-huh.
Did they ever do anything else with her later? That seems kind of like a wasted.
I don't think so.
That's a shame. I
Guess
mean, she's. Sorry, go ahead.
Mulder's asking if any of the kids have some weird things. He's like, oh, no, of course not. We wipe their memory.
Oh, yeah.
A little problematic when the person you're looking for information from is part of the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Repressed memories were such a 90s thing, too.
Yeah, 80s and 90s, yeah.
Yep.
I had a hard time not actually laughing out loud when they started getting into that in this episode.
That was because at first they're trying to do the satanic panic was just bunk them and all that stuff, but when Mulder starts doing the repressed memories, and I was like, oh no, they're going to the garbage science that helped to convict a lot of people.
Oh, that's where I know her from. She played Miss Kaplan, Mr. Kaplan, on Blacklist.
Oh yeah, except she's way older there.
Yeah,
Well,
for some reason that's how aging works.
Yeah, I
But
like
that's why I didn't recognize her, is because
right. But that's why it clicked in my head. I've seen her somewhere. Yeah, she was a great character in that show.
Yeah,
I really liked her.
Indictment is the name of that movie I was trying to think of earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and you're right. Yep, she was in Blacklist.
Yeah.
I didn't actually read your comment. I was busy looking it up Wikipedia, so I didn't see that you said it. But yeah, you're absolutely correct. She was Mr. Kaplan. I liked her in that role.
Time to
Yeah, I
dissect the
stopped.
piggy.
I stopped watching that show after she gets.
Yeah,
Off.
it started going off the rails. But up until that point, it was pretty good. I liked the main character because he would like casually sit in a chair and talk and monologue, and then some guy that betrayed him like 10 years ago, he'd just shoot him in the face and get up and leave.
Yeah.
So, and he was always I liked it because he was always 2 or 3 steps ahead of everybody.
Yeah.
And I like that because most modern shows, the guy is like a dum-dum and doesn't know anything and is constantly reactive to everything. In this, he was almost always ahead of the game.
Yeah.
Piggy.
You know what? All the schools I went to, I dissected a frog once, and that was it. But most
Yeah,
places
pigs-
didn't have enough money to do any of this.
Pigs
we
are
did.
usually usually a college thing.
No,
Yeah.
we did both frogs and fetal pigs in high school.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're old, so.
Did you have like an auto shop and a woodworking shop and all that?
Yeah,
kind
that
of
was before we got rid of all that stuff.
Yeah, see, my high school had all that too.
Yeah.
See,
They had a
we
pool and everything.
we did not have a pool. We did have a woodworking and an auto shop, but we did not dissect fetal pigs.
No, we did frogs. My frog, it had a fly in its stomach,
Oh yeah.
or like a beetle fly. It was like a horse fly or something. It's pretty big.
No, in college I did human bodies.
She's running past the backward spinning water fountain.
Yeah. She's just like, the pig made her repressed memories come up.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is where this episode really kind of went off the rails for me.
Yeah, I mean the good thing is though is that she like immediately demonstrates that the memories are BS. Right, because she has like a baby when she's like 5 or something. It's like
Yeah, she was like, I had 3 babies.
3
It's like,
babies.
okay,
Yeah.
You're 15. Let's say that it started when you were 13 or something. Maybe you could pack them in, but all it would take is one physical exam to figure out that she was never pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but like her timeline is like they kill her babies. I think before they kill her sister.
Right.
Yeah, and then they kill the sister, which can be easily proven to not exist.
Right. And her sister was 8 when it happened, and they were like, "Wait a second."
Yeah.
But this whole repressed memories thing goes back to the 80s when there were like private childcare facilities that were getting busted for like neglect and stuff. And they start asking the kids, and next thing you know, the kids are telling all these weird stories about satanic rituals and whatever. And as they keep investigating and pushing the kids for more details, the stories get wilder and wilder. Like they took them up in airplanes and flew them around the airport and, did all kinds of stuff. And then that's when everyone was like, wait a second, this is a little crazy. And started looking into it deeper.
Yeah, the repressed memory thing kept going for quite a while. Even with adults, there were grown women that were convinced by their therapist that their fathers had done all kinds of crazy things to them, even though like their stories were about as credible as some of the kids or whatever. And, the whole family would be like, no, I mean, your timeline is wrong. Here's evidence that he was actually out of country for a good chunk of this time that you're talking about this thing. And unfortunately, some of those people that were victims of the therapist with the repressed memory, they still believed him, and like it destroyed families.
There's actually at least one documented case of a guy, because there was the whole like children would never lie about that. So there was one guy who admitted to it and went to jail and did this whole penance thing, and then it turned out that like they were able to prove there's no possible way he could have done it.
Yep. Well, I mean, because once you're charged, like, dude, they're going to convict you because they're going to bring the child and then the therapist up that claims that children never lie, and so he pleads to to reduce sentence. But once you're in jail, you have to admit your crime to get a parole. And so he essentially is like, oh yeah, I did it and all that, right? But once you start down that path, you're screwed.
My grandma had that car.
The Buick.
Yes.
Is that
Yeah,
the
that
Sabre?
has the backup light in the middle.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, right underneath. Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah. No, the third backup light thing that was always bolted onto a bunch of cars in the 90s.
You look at all these houses these days, and you just start like calculating, and you're like, these guys are living in a multi-million-dollar house.
Yeah.
If you were to put this house in the market these days,
Yeah.
in actual Minneapolis,
Yeah.
or wait, this is up in
No,
No, that
this
was the last
yeah,
episode.
that was the last one.
No.
Up in Maine.
Yeah, it's Maine.
Anyway, up in Maine, it would still be at least an $800,000. Look how big this thing is.
Yeah.
Thank you, Stephen King, for the fact that we are known as the Satanism state.
Well, no, it was actually these people.
Yeah.
I don't know. When I was in college, I once had this woman who came to do a poetry reading, and she said, I knew I was coming, and I don't know why, but for some reason, I just assumed that axe murders are a thing here, so I just wrote a poem for you guys about axe murders.
Isn't what state was the Amityville Horror supposed to take place in? Was that Maryland or something?
Connecticut, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they asked the mom about the 8-year-old sister. It's like, no, she wasn't 8. She was 8 months old.
I think
Oh,
said
she had
was-
like
Eight
she was
weeks,
8
I think.
weeks.
Oh,
yeah,
8 weeks
and
is
she
8
had like
weeks, okay.
sudden crib death or something.
Yeah, sudden
Yeah.
infant death.
Yeah.
SIDS nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
Which they really don't know what is or what causes
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
They know that there are certain things that increase the likelihood, but
Yeah. And then we had things like shaken baby syndrome that they were like, oh, actually, yeah, we got a lot of that wrong too. Oops.
Yeah.
well, that is the nature of science. You start with one theory and keep on rolling.
Yeah, it's just don't base your law on science that isn't definitively proven.
Ooh. Got an anger problem there.
I mean, that glass was defective.
Yeah. It just blew up in his hand.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I just noticed their cookie jar. It's a cow between them.
Yeah.
I mean, in the 90s, that's probably the most accurate thing so far to portray Maine.
Yeah.
They also had a little herb garden thing there. Or
Yeah.
like a jar with herbs in it, I guess.
Well, you got to work on the spring tension on that automatic door closer there, buddy. That's,
We were, in the 90s, we were a huge dairy state, though.
Yeah.
It's even a Holstein, which is the cow of choice.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Out here in West Texas, there's so many dairy farms now. They're everywhere,
yeah.
to the point they've opened up like 2 new cheese plants to like convert
I
all
think
the
this
milk.
guy has little man syndrome.
Yeah, he kind of does.
Well,
Well,
he's
and
also going bald. He's got a lot of problems with that too.
Yeah.
he,
He's jealous of Mulder's hair.
He's going to cut some off, maybe get a fingernail or two.
It's like, are you sure you want to do this? Yeah. Yeah, I want to get a pig. It'll be fun.
All right, I'll just be in my office casting spells. Better take off that bracelet.
Yeah.
That's when I knew this child was dead. Clatu Barada Nikto.
Oops, I said it in the wrong order.
Oh,
Oops.
they were mostly right.
Could have taken a whole, different track with this one.
Yeah.
It rewinds to like earlier that morning. Mom, can I borrow your bracelet?
Yeah.
Oh no. Yeah. It's like,
She swaps with Susie at the lockers.
yeah, by the time she gets there, you don't know
pigs.
who's dead.
Pig's right next to her.
The pig did it. I mean, that's my likely suspect.
It's the only thing there.
Listen, Mr. Oinkers, we found you right next to the dead body. Wait, how do you explain yourself?
Mr. Oinker.
The pig is also obviously fake in that particular one.
Yeah.
And much smaller than any of the other ones she was thumping onto tables earlier.
Yeah.
And that snake is way too big for that table.
Yeah. Hi, kids. We have a 30-foot reticulated python.
Did anyone else think that, for a
Where'd
substitute
little Timmy go? I don't know.
Yeah.
for a substitute teacher they just hired, she has an awful all the subs I ever had in high school were like, yeah, so do this worksheet and watch a movie.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the best thing is that nobody remembers hiring her.
Yeah.
Yeah, Scully writes this off with like, oh, it's just, just like lack of communication. It's like, now, you don't think that like there would be one person that was responsible for the actual hiring?
Yeah. Have you seen the size of this school?
Or like the principal would be like, who is this person?
Yeah.
Unless these people were all like, they knew who she was. Like,
yep. But they didn't.
Yeah. So it's weird. Like,
it's because she's Azariel. She casts spells. So basically, here you go. Because I mean, it's not like she doesn't have a distinctive face that you would remember.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
So these other guys, they want to blame it on the girl that just killed herself, or that was just made to kill herself.
Yeah, that guy's daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we'll start up our religion again.
Yeah.
After the FBI leaves.
Yeah, we're realizing that maybe we've been slacking and something's pissed off at us.
Yeah.
Maybe we hadn't been sacrificing enough people.
I turned to my wife. I was like, and this is what happens when you forget the spirit of Halloween.
We haven't sacrificed anyone in years. Yeah, it might be the problem.
Yeah. This is the problem with the Reformed Satanists. I mean, it doesn't work out well for them. You got to be fundamentalists or go home.
I can't believe young people do this to themselves.
Yeah, I mean, she's a great. She acts so. I mean, her acting is fantastic in this.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, her acting is fantastic. Period. But.
Yeah.
You notice that the sun's out outside and then it immediately goes to a thunderstorm. It's like something's wrong in this town.
It's that tornado. It sucked up a thunderstorm and spit it out on them.
So they're thinking that it's the substitute teacher here.
Are they at this point? I thought.
Yeah, because this is when Scully says that nobody remembers hiring her.
Well, here's the other thing. Even if they don't remember hiring her, they must have known they had to hire someone to replace the sick guy who they did know was sick.
The guy who has like only been gone like 2 days in his career and then suddenly disappears.
Well,
yeah, she was like,
he has a flesh-eating disease.
Yeah, oh yeah, flesh-eating necrosis.
Yeah, and then on the same day that all this happens.
Yeah, then she shows up the very same day.
And then she like uses whatever personal item and then she burns her hand with a candle. I thought that when she walks out with the jewelry, they were going to be like, "Hey, why's her hand burned?" But she didn't have any burn on her hand. Also, I guess the storm knocked out all the power. Yes. You got to keep that in mind because I was like, otherwise, why are they never turning any lights on?
Yeah, it's the power. The power goes out. And it goes out like at the school.
Mm-hmm.
Then that lady steals Scully's pin.
Yep.
Yeah, because that's absolutely a personal. Like, how many people have a personal relationship with their pen?
Not many.
I mean,
Nowadays, not many.
have you seen those pictures of me?
I mean, I guess the Satanists are. I've got you if you ever piss them off. Then
Exactly. Yeah. Like, I don't know why my butt hurts so much. Oh no! Somebody got my pen. Mando, they would steal like your lighter or your gas jug.
Yeah. Or your flamethrower.
Yeah, flamethrower.
Or your pet lion.
Yeah.
So this guy turned against the other paganists when they said, "Hey, we're just going to blame it on your daughter."
Yeah. It's like, this is starting to be a bit sus.
I mean, they're really demon worshippers, not paganists. But
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. To be specific,
I do love.
devil worship.
I love these kinds of shots. We were talking about shadows earlier, and X-Files has a lot of those profile shots where you can't really tell where the shadows of the background end and the person starts.
Yeah.
I love those.
Yeah, just that muted key light that's on his face, half of his face, or being shot from below.
This is where this guy admits to we're kind of Satanists and doing weird stuff.
Yeah, we sacrifice people.
We believe in the old time religion.
Yeah, and we were we fled persecution of of people being persecuted. I can't remember how he put it.
Yeah.
But basically, they came over with the pilgrims who came because they were being persecuted religiously, and then they had to leave because they're Satanists. And I'm gonna say that the old-timey Puritans weren't down with that.
No, they were downright intolerant about that kind of thing.
Right, exactly. No, I don't know. Maybe somebody deserved a burning at the stake. It was these guys. But she does have a record, it's on a computer.
Yeah.
So,
Is that it? I thought the whole point of the pen was to I don't know. Scully hallucinating
Wait.
seems to be a whole thing.
The power is out. How is she on the computer?
Yeah, she's running on battery.
Backup.
it's a
battery power.
laptop,
Yeah,
connected to
laptop.
the
Okay.
wireless network that surely existed in 1995.
She's
Well,
FBI.
the
They
good
get
news is
they get-
the phone system will keep running if power
They get
goes out
special-
because this is the old
Special
days.
laptops with special batteries.
Yeah,
That's
but
true.
phones
Well,
would still work.
I was gonna say they did have and it was pretty well all wired in, and the phones did keep working.
Yep.
So
Yeah, so she stole the pin to make herself sound like Scully.
Yep.
Calls Mulder. I'm in trouble. I'm being abducted again.
I've dropped my gun again, and I'm being
Yep.
abducted.
For the express purpose of luring him away.
Yep.
and he never questions it because it's so common.
It's like, of course you are. Yes.
Of course you are.
Yep. Yeah.
Should have known that as soon as I left you.
Yeah.
Be there just in time.
It's like, Dad, I clogged the toilet again.
Let me guess, too much toilet paper.
I have to go. It's my
I'm just gonna handcuff you here.
Yeah.
This is the section where I go rescue Scully.
Yep.
I'll be back.
Yeah, that weird backup light. This is so weird. Oh, here comes Snaky.
Yep.
Yeah.
The
Don't,
teleporting reticulated python. Also, how the hell does the snake eat him when he's handcuffed to a thing?
Exactly. Just rips his hand
Well,
off.
The way that it turns out, it's kind of a magical snake, I guess.
Clearly.
Yeah.
I mean, Mulder really needs to get like a slap on the wrist over the fact that he's like, yeah, so I handcuffed my only suspect to a railing and just kind of left him there.
Yeah.
Which was, why
Knowing,
didn't he just cuff him and bring him with him?
yeah, exactly. Knowing that he has pissed off a whole bunch of people capable of murder.
Well, he
gets
didn't. He
to
didn't.
the
He didn't
school.
realize there was a reticulated python on the loose. I mean,
Mulder
that's,
gets to the school and says, "You called me. You were in trouble." No, I didn't. Oh, I just left our only witness handcuffed.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't know about the python, but he does know that there are other people in this group that, you know, are probably capable of killing, and that this guy is willing to name them.
Right. It's like, and it digested him really fast.
Yeah, I have to say that was it went right through him.
Yep. And it's like, where's my handcuff?
Great thing being that, you know, considering it was a constrictor
Mm-hmm.
style, that ribcage looks amazingly intact.
Yeah.
Well, it was wrapped around his neck, so he was probably screwed pretty quick.
And she said it would have taken hours for it to like eat him whole, right?
Yeah.
Because it's slow, and then it would have taken
Weeks.
months to
digest.
Because like when they eat like a capybara or pig or whatever in the Amazon, they won't eat again for like 4 or 5 months.
Yeah.
They live off of just
And then it had time to shed its skin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, these people aren't the brightest. They're like, yeah, let's if Mulder knows, we'll just sacrifice him. You know.
Yeah.
No, they won't come looking for an FBI.
And then everything will be fine. Yeah.
Yep.
All I could think of when they had the snake skin there is like, you know, when you eat too much at Thanksgiving and you have to kind of like, you get the guys that like loosen their belt a little.
Yeah. Do the button.
Yeah.
That's what the
It's like,
snake
man,
does.
this skin is a little tight for me. I should have worn my loose skin when I came down here.
Yeah. Back when you had like the Jordache tight jeans,
Yeah.
you had a little
Yeah.
bit too much to eat. You had to undo the button.
That's when you see like the uncle that has like the stretched sides on the. He was like, "Good thing I wore these."
Hey, yeah, the buckles on the leisure suit. You can
just
undo the sides. Yeah.
yeah.
They're here.
I do have to say, as much as we've been making fun of Scully, the fact that Mulder gets taken out by, you know, a middle-class, non-fighting guy with a chair.
Yeah. Those people are crazy. They took the snake.
Oh, sorry, I jumped ahead of scene. This whole episode was very dark. I mean, it had some
Yeah.
great shadow shots, but it
Yeah, you had to squint a bit.
got a little hard on my eyes after a while.
Yeah. Well, it was a little better when it was the CRT that was actually projecting light at you.
True.
Eyeballs.
See, she doesn't seem to have any issues whatsoever with like
See, eyeballs.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
those
She went
body parts
hair.
getting
She
popped
saw the
out.
She
therapist.
sees hair cut off. Oh man.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah. Yeah. At least it wasn't hair clipping.
She
so
wears a
lost.
blindfold when she goes to the
Barbershop. Yeah.
barbershop. Yeah.
Yeah.
Eraser made a good point. Don't snakes also like have to sleep after eating huge
Yeah,
amounts?
exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah, they basically go into a hibernation state, I think.
Yep.
Not only that, they're cold-blooded, so you know what I mean? It's not like there's a lot of factors. Like it's got to
Yep.
be sunny out and all that kind of stuff for them to be active. So it wouldn't do so well going into the basement like this.
It was
Unless-
a warm basement.
Exactly, unless the basement was warmed up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what's her name? Potts or whatever, the substitute teacher. She's basically pulling a Snape here by you think she's
Yeah.
bad, but she's protecting them.
Well, they're just useful tools.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And she's punishing them for not.
Yep.
You know. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you never know, is she like a real person? Is she a demonic entity?
Oh no, she's a demon.
Yeah.
So she has this guy take out the other two, and
And takes himself out.
then he paints the wall.
Yep. Well, it was redecorating season.
See, I'm a little surprised considering that he was the one who did repeatedly keep saying, like, hey guys, we should be better at this.
Yeah, but I mean, just pointing out we should be better than actually being better, two different things, and he never got to that part.
And they get back. Oh, she's gone. And then the power comes back on.
Like, I do have to say the ending of this also kind of weirded me out. It was like, you went through all of that just so you could then, like, have them murder suicide?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that's just weird.
Well, I mean, they just happened to be around here when things were going down.
No, I get that, but she kills the boy.
Yep.
She kills the dark-haired girl. The other two apparently live.
Yeah, because the dark-haired girl is a daughter of one of the core members. I don't think the other kids are.
But
No.
the girl, the guy she kills in the beginning.
I don't know
He's
who
just-
I don't know who he belongs to.
There's no mention that he belongs to anybody.
Well, I mean, he has to belong to somebody. He didn't just spring fully formed out of the ground. And well, he might have in this episode.
Yeah, that might be possible.
Yeah.
But
This is a
but
strange
there is
place.
there is no sign that his parents are anyone that's actually in the show.
Yeah, so it may be, okay, this one is the warning, right? It's unrelated to you, but be aware, y'all been slacking. And then they keep slacking, and then it's like, all right, well, I'm going to take one of yours. And then they keep talking about it, but they don't actually do anything. And so, yep, I'm going to take one of you. And by that time, again, that guy's like, well, we really should. And it's like, time has passed.
Yeah. Too late.
But like all of the other deaths were like worse.
Yeah.
And then like the ones that are really the serious issue are just like, yep, shotgun blast to the face. Like,
Yeah, I mean, the girl just cuts her wrists.
yeah, it still takes longer to bleed out than it does to, you know.
Oh, no, she just dropped dead next to the pig. That was all that took. Yeah, the one guy that, but I guess he was, he was going to betray the sect, and he was out of date on his dues to Azariel or whichever demon it was. So
Have
he
you
gets
paid
the
your
snake
dues?
treatment.
No,
He gets-
no, you haven't.
Yep.
He gets a slow, painful. I don't know. I guess it just like there's so much buildup with like the fire in the first one, and then like the moving pig in the second one, and the snake in the third one, and then it's just like shotgun blast to the face. Okay,
Yep.
we're done now.
There I fixed it.
There it is.
It's like
Yeah.
I'm out of
So-
really cool tricks. So
Yeah, I'm just, I ain't got a lot of time. I got things to do.
I'll be right back. I gotta go do something real quick.
Yeah, this was so again, the satanic panic was correct the entire time. So we got affirmation of that.
I mean, this was during the Satanic Panic, so
Yeah, and so they were right the whole time. This was demonstrating how correct it was. There really are Satanists everywhere, and messing around with that stuff. They were probably listening to Judas Priest. That would explain a lot of the deaths.
I found it really fascinating. They were like, "Did you assault your stepdaughter?" And he's like, No, I wouldn't do that. I mean, we did a whole lot of other really terrible stuff, but I would never do that.
Yeah, no, not that. I mean, sure, some unfortunate ceremonies, and and then he says they say something about like the child's blood is really powerful, but that they didn't. But it's like, I mean, just the presence of the child apparently was enough because he didn't harm her in any way, to include cutting her.
And the memories thing is really weird. I mean, just like borrow an infant. babysit.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
Yeah, that
leave it
was
in the cradle while you're doing your thing.
Yeah,
Although the stuff that that she described was really dark. I was like, I'm surprised they went there in the show.
well, I mean, that would have been stuff that you would have heard on the news. So,
yeah, but there's a difference between like hearing it on the news and then being on like a primetime show.
yeah, well, they sanitized it down a bit from some of the stuff that you heard on the news.
Right. Yeah, just by not mentioning Dahmer as well.
Yeah. So they try and reference some of the stuff, but it's kind of the sanitized, cleaned up version of reality.
Reality.
It's true, Racerhead.
In question marks.
Yeah. They can be in your house, or even on your stream. Satanists are everywhere. I mean, I can believe my house is actually a Satanist, given some of the things that it's pulled on me when I've had to try and repair it. It's certainly a believer, like automobiles. They both are. They believe in the old gods. They demand blood sacrifice in order for you to repair them.
Yeah, you have to pray to the machine god.
You got to bleed on it, or it will not work.
Right. Yep. That is kind of a true statement.
Yep.
This feels like an intro to a Christine, another Christine sequel.
There we go.
Is there a sequel for the original Christine?
I mean, I wasn't making the assumption there wasn't because it's a Stephen King based movie.
Yeah,
that's true.
Is.
Yeah.
There's probably like a Christine 10 directive video.
Yeah.
I've never seen it.
Puppet Master Christine crossover at some point.
Puppet Master's awesome.
It is the first couple.
Yeah.
Until you realize there's like 12 of them.
Yeah,
like,
the original, the OG Puppet Master is awesome.
So yeah, there is a direct-to-video sequel called Christine 2: The Revenge.
Of course.
Yeah, see, I thought I knew that there was like a second one or something. Kind of like the Jaws movies, how they got progressively worse and worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, but I mean, Christine 2: The Revenge makes no sense because Christine is already about revenge. What are we talking about?
Right.
It's a revenger.
Yeah, revenger. Yep. Yeah. But this also was the era of because like Leprechaun was like they were on like their third one by now, I think.
Yeah. Troll.
Yeah, Troll. Yeah.
Probably would have had like Troll in the Hood or whatever in this era.
What was the one where people were making pacts with like this devil or something, and then they would get all this money, and then the next day all the money would like turn into like mush and maggots and stuff. It was around.
I mean, that's how Leprechaun gold works, or fairy gold, anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, but this one was specifically like a devil would like come out, walk around.
Oh, is that Wishmaster?
Yeah, that's it. Wishmaster.
Oh,
definitely.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wishmaster. Yeah.
Well, and this Warlock, I think, would have come out around this time.
That's got Julia and Sands in it, right?
Yeah.
That was good. That was a decent movie.
It was.
Yeah.
And I liked that it was not afraid to get downright roguish with some of the things like that in order to make a flying potion you needed the fat from a baby, and so
of an unbaptized child.
Yeah, unbaptized.
And it was a little kid like on a swing.
Yeah.
Yep. And then that, and then the original Hocus Pocus was around this time.
Yeah. Witches of Eastwick.
Yeah. Yep. And then 97 was The Craft that came out.
Yeah. I was just gonna ask when that came out because
it was like 97. Yep. Did you see that movie?
I did, but not until well after it was out.
Okay.
That's why I wasn't sure when it came out.
Yeah, I think I saw it on cable.
Because a couple of the people that were in that movie were pretty famous at the time. One of the characters in it, she was in Return to Oz. I remember seeing that. Like, what's that? That came out like 89 or something.
Yeah.
Maybe before
Is
that.
that the really messed up one?
Yeah, it's the one with the like mechanical guy that you got to wind up.
TikTok man, yeah.
Yeah, and supposedly that one is more accurate to the book. The way that like stuff goes down in it.
I always like to think The Wiz is the most book accurate version of the
Yeah, but it was I remember seeing it. It had some good cinematography and like lighting and stuff. How they did things, it's really creepy.
yeah.
And yeah,
Yeah, yet another of the Gen X let's scare the hell out of our kids things.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It was pretty crazy, and but yeah, all those old. That's bringing back memories. All those old. You go to like Blockbuster and be like, what am I going to watch tonight? Like, here's a Wishmaster in a Leprechaun. Leprechaun in the Hood or whatever.
Yeah. So a movie I did see in the theater was The People Under the Stairs, which was a terrible movie, but I saw it in a theater where I was the only white person, and I have never had a better time at a movie, especially a terrible movie, as that, because the audience was convinced that all the characters could hear them and would like shout instructions, and then when the character inevitably did not do that thing, it would be like, "See, I told you." Now, now you out. What's up, right?
Yeah.
I
Exactly.
was dying. I was doing everything not to laugh out loud. I mean, that theater was full, and it was just me and a lot of black people, and those people were having a ball watching this movie, and I was having a ball watching them.
Yeah, that was. I don't think I've ever seen that movie.
It's got a so the lead, like the protagonist, is a young black kid that's like, I don't know, 10 or 12, and the like one of the big bads is the guy that was he was in Dune, and he was in Quest for Fire. Everett something.
Quest for Fire. Wow, it's been a long time since I've seen that movie.
Yeah, he was like the main guy in that.
All I remember is the like little orangutan guys throwing rocks at him.
Yeah.
From that movie.
Well, I always called that movie Quest for the Missionary Position, because that was one of the things that was featured in it.
That had what's his name in it though?
Ron Perlman.
Yeah, Ron Perlman.
Yeah, and Radon Chong.
Yeah, Radon Chong. Yeah.
And even though, because they always say, there's no dialogue, and I was like, well, for no dialogue, she doesn't shut the hell up, and it's just like Commando, where she's just yapping continuously, except she's doing this in the prehistoric age, and she still won't shut up.
Yeah, Eraserhead. I think it was Everett McGill.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, he's the leader of the Fremen.
Okay, that guy.
Yeah, in 1984 Dune.
Oh, the 1984 Dune. Yes.
Yeah,
I know who you're talking about. He was Stilgar.
Yeah. And he's in The People Under the Stairs.
I liked the 1984 Dune quite a bit.
I like it better than whatever his name is, mostly because it's populated, unlike Villeneuve, which seems to be like, single people in room kind of thing. Now I understand that they were doing it during COVID, so they had some problems with it. But the other thing is that there's no real like stylistic difference between the different families in Villeneuve versus Lynch's. Man, you know where you're at.
Yeah.
And Baron Harkonnen is fantastic in the 1984.
Yeah, he is.
And really more book accurate.
Yeah, the red hair and
the boils and diseases, the very creepy sexual attraction he has to younger boys, and then the heart plugs.
You know what? I need to read the book. I've been put, I never got around to reading it. But
Oh, you got to.
Yeah.
It's good.
yeah. Is there a book to stop at though? Like after a point, it starts getting bad in the series.
That I don't know.
when he wasn't writing it anymore and his kid was.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's when
Yeah,
it started.
I've
going
only
off
read the
rails.
first book.
Well, the
far.
thing is that it gets after the first 2 books, it just starts to get progressively weird.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
it depends a little bit on what your tolerance is for weird.
Yeah, I mean it so like Messiah and then God Emperor it makes sense and it gives you an idea of like the time spans and the greater plan that he has. I mean you find out that Muad'Dib actually veers away from the path and it's his offspring that have to follow the path that he sees but turns away from, and the eventual goal is to ensure that humanity never comes under the oppression of the systems that they had before. So Herbert was very libertarian in his beliefs, and that's kind of the ultimate goal. And then his son, who's not smart, takes over and definitely doesn't understand what his dad was doing.
Okay.
Well, I mean, he's also not supposed to be a hero, and the entire reason he turned it into a series was because he was upset that people were seeing him as a hero, but they were seeing Paul as a hero.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Paul is not a hero, and he definitely doubles down where he's like, he refuses to take the path that leads to good outcomes, and instead, once he starts the jihad, then I'm done, man. That's fine.
Yeah.
Anyway, X-Files.
Yeah.
So X-Files. Yeah, those were some interesting episodes. And I'll just for next month see which ones.
Yeah, these were definitely of their time.
Yeah.
And I still hold that Kolchak the Night Stalker is better than the X-Files.
Really?
Yeah.
I've only seen the first, the vampire one.
The movie?
The movie, yeah. So next month, hang on just a second, sorry. Taking me a bit.
I think the thing is a lot of people remember very specific episodes from the X-Files.
Yeah.
And those are great. And we just kind of forget that all the really bad ones are there.
Well, I think the other thing is a lot of people remember the hype around the X-Files and that, just the, oh my gosh, the X-Files is on, and, they have watch parties and all that stuff, and people remember that, and they don't remember just kind of how cheesy some of these are. But But then there's some that people don't remember that were really good episodes. Yeah. And I think the again, it's you have to kind of look at this in its time and how this really was kind of an edgy series compared to, a lot of the pablum that was on TV at the time.
Yeah, I think that's one of the reasons that Millennium didn't do well. I think he went a little bit too far, and people were just like, Yeah. Because the people who liked it really liked it.
Yeah.
And everyone else just kind of went, I don't really know what to do with this.
Yeah, it was a good cult, hit that just never got enough mainstream. I mean, again, like American Gothic in the mid '90s. My wife and I were the only ones that saw it, and that was enough to get it canceled. Because we like a thing, then it definitely is getting canceled.
I have that problem. If I like find a pair of socks or underwear I like, they stop making it. It's out of stock, and you never see it again.
Yep.
Buy it while you can.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So the episodes, we'll be doing 3 next week because it's there's 25 episodes in the season, and I always get left with one one extra one. So we'll be doing 3.
So we have to
One's a
do-
2-parter.
We have to do like a reverse leap year thing.
Yeah.
Right. Right. So the ones next month are Fresh Bones, Colony, and In Game. So those last 2 are 2-part.
Okay. Well, that's a perfect one to do 3 on then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Endgame isn't as good as Infinity War, but you know.
No, no, it's not. So we'll go around the horn here and see what we got coming. Shieldwall.
Hey, thanks for having me on. A lot of fun. It's great to be on with the Goat and Emperor Goodwin. Always nice when you guys are on the channel. Yeah, great discussion. Let's see. Well, tomorrow I think I'm going to be on Zax's channel, and we're going to be going over. He invited me on kind of last minute. Best pro-American movies. I guess that's a Canadian way of doing stuff. And then on Thursday, I'm going to be on Roman of the Empire's channel, and we're going to go over our favorite patriotic movies because the 4th of July is coming up.
Yeah.
So yeah, looking forward to that. So it'll be interesting. And yeah, and then whatever we're doing next week on this channel. Sorry, my brain kind of doesn't work that well. I'm a little old, so it's hard for me to keep up to what we're doing, unless you haven't told us yet. So can't remember.
Yeah, we'll be doing The Searchers next
Oh,
week.
okay. Ooh, that is a really good one. Yeah, be sure
Yes.
to tune in for that, everybody. That's an amazing movie.
It's one of the earlier ones I've done
Mhm.
on the channel, but didn't give it enough
Right.
time to go over. So we'll be doing that next week.
Yeah, some movies you could go over 2 or 3 times easily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Goat.
Well, if people haven't seen it yet, I got done last week. Last week? I've lost lost track of time. Last week, 10 days ago, something like that. Doing a history and discussion on zombie movies.
That
So-
was a good video.
Thank you. It was a lot of fun to make. The only downside was that there were a lot of movies I really wanted to include, but I realized very quickly it was going to become like a 3-hour video if I did that. So I decided I was going to, try and cover the basics, throw in a few, not heard of ones just for fun. I'm sort of mulling over the possibility of doing a foreign zombie movies one, because there were complaints that I did not include, Italian zombie movies.
Oh, yeah. The fever dream of Italian zombie movies.
And I really like some of the stuff that the Koreans have done with zombie, like the zombie
Oh
television
yeah,
shows and
the
movies
Train
and
to
stuff.
Kingdom.
Yeah,
Train to
yeah,
Busan.
Kingdom. Yeah,
I mentioned Train to Busan several times in the video because how
You
could you
did.
not?
Yep.
But I thought it might be fun just in general to
Mhm.
to cover
Right.
how
see how
how
other
zombies
cultures. Yeah.
how zombies have spread, how the zombie apocalypse has spread to other countries. Tomorrow at 7:00 Eastern Standard Time, we are bringing back shows you've never seen. We're going to be covering Daybreak, which is a police procedural. It only got 13 episodes. It is a police procedural that had a baby with Groundhog Day.
Yes.
It is a very strange show. It is very good. And it's just one of those shows that I think was in a funny time slot and people just kind of missed that it even existed. It fascinates me because it has a 50% on Rotten Tomatoes from the critics and a 100% rating from viewers.
Yeah, I love those cult classics where they're like, "How dare you speak ill of my favorite?"
When did that come out? Like what time? period?
2006.
Okay.
And the great part is, I think in Carnival, it was kind of an issue because there were a lot of people who hadn't seen it. But it turns out that the show is available on YouTube. And so I've put a link up so that anyone who wants to can literally week by week watch the show with us. You just have to make sure you watch it before we start our discussion, and then you can tell us why we're wrong in the chat.
Yeah.
Eraserhead says he's already betting it's not as good as Carnival. He got very into Carnival.
Yeah.
Carnival is the one with they got like the fairies and goat people and stuff.
No, that's
Mm-mm.
that's the Amazon series with
Okay.
Legolas. No,
Yeah.
Carnival was a 90s HBO series.
Okay. Because
Yeah,
I saw the one with the fairies and the goats, and it was all right.
Yeah.
No, Carnival is like, honestly, it probably would still be going, except that at the time it was like the largest cast they'd ever done. And it just got to the point where it's too expensive, and it was so weird and graphic they had to put it on really late at night. And so it just couldn't pull in the kind of ratings to support that huge a cast, but it was a great show. And other than that, I am trying to figure out what my next. I'm probably going to do a hashtag the book is better for my next video. I just haven't yet figured out what I'm going to do for a book yet. So that's where we be.
Cool.
All right.
Goodwin, what do you got?
Oh, tomorrow night on Sergeant Giratina's channel, I have to cover the Jurassic World trilogy.
Oh,
And
yes.
I watched all 3 of them on Saturday and felt like somebody had hit me in the head with a baseball bat because that, oh my gosh, those movies are bad. My wife had only seen Jurassic World. And so we rewatched that and she was like, yeah, it's all right. It's not whatever. And we watched the second one. She was like, what is going on? I was like, oh, no. You have not met the true fever dream that is the third one, Dominion,
yeah, right.
with flaming locusts, and yeah, it's those are bad.
Women that can have babies
Yeah, that's crazy
by
tough.
themselves,
Yeah, as one does.
Ellie did say that women will inherit the earth. So
Yeah, absolutely correct. Yeah, so the and by all accounts, the new Jurassic World movie is just as bad as you would expect it to be.
Oh, really? So it's kind of how I thought it was going to go.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's no surprises.
Wow.
alrighty.
I mean, honestly, no one can expect it to be anything else at this point. So it really just feels like they're going through the motions.
Well,
Like,
going
nobody's-
through the motions has worked for them. I mean, look at the prior 2 that were just, fundamentally idiotic, and
like-
they still made over $1 billion.
Did they? Good
Yeah.
Lord.
Yeah.
People are-
Dinosaurs,
Oh,
People are
that
so
last
just-
one was
just make-
terrible.
Yeah,
just
People
make
are
it
so stupid.
without the people and just have dinosaurs.
yeah.
Then it's a
That's really
Godzilla-
all people are going to.
Then it's a Godzilla movie.
Yeah, right.
No, Godzilla movies suffer from too many shots with
Right,
people in
yeah,
it.
Not
Yeah,
the most recent ones. They got the stories about people and feelings. I don't care. I want to see Godzilla just walking through fuel
I mean,
tank.
I was
and go-
thinking more like real Godzilla, like
Oh,
when he was
right.
black and white in a rubber suit.
Now, Godzilla -1, that was a good movie.
Yeah.
Good plot. The story was compelling. The characters were compelling. It had real emotions.
I'm so weirded out that people love that movie so much.
Because it's more like the original than anything we've seen in 20 years is why.
With much better effects.
And it used original music in it too, which was good.
And his original sound.
Yep. Although I do think the hero should have died at the end.
Yeah.
But that's just me.
But they wanted to give you hope.
He should have fulfilled his duty. And
Yeah, it would have actually been a meaningful sacrifice instead of the
Exactly.
meaningless one that would have happened.
Right. Yep.
So, as for me, I will be on Goat's show tomorrow night, and then I will be on the Jurassic World one too.
Oh.
So
Awesome.
got a
Jacob gets around.
2 stream. I do
Yeah.
get around. Yeah.
Hold me, Jacob. Hold me during that stream. That's gonna be a rough one.
And then I'll be on Roman's show, and then next week for the Searchers.
Awesome.
That's all I got.
How long is that movie? It's like almost 3 hours, right?
Yeah, that's a chunky boy.
Yeah, it is a
Yeah.
chunky one.
All right. Yep.
Yeah, it's a good one though. Yeah, that's all we got, people. Thanks for hanging with us, and hope everybody has a good week. Thanks to the Eclectic Goat and Emperor Goodwin. It
Thank you
was
for
a
having
good
me.
one.
Yeah,
Yep.
great having. And everybody enjoy their 4th of July.
Exactly. And we will see y'all next time. Bye.
Bye.
I'm sorry. I don't remember any of it.
You don't remember?
For you, the day bison graced your village was the most important day of your life. But for me, it was Tuesday.